Reaper is the newest class introduced to Lost Ark, and while I initially didn't plan on making one, after checking out some gameplay I ended up going for it to see if all the rumors were true. Reaper is probably the most famous floor tank of Lost Ark, so I wanted to see for myself how bad it really was. And it's certainly not as bad as every Reaper you're going to get will just be dead on the floor, but I can see where they're coming from. Reaper has one of the lowest defenses in the game, and it also has a lot of movement in their kit, and a fair amount of that movement is also involuntary. Pair that together with certain bosses also not having a full hitbox, don't really know how to put it, but some bosses in the game don't stop you from going through them, and if you haven't played a class that can go through a boss, then it can really catch you off guard. Still remember it very vividly that the first time I did Valtan on my striker, I killed myself because I lightning tiger striked through Valtan during the ghost phase. Striker ended up getting that skill changed so that it no longer goes through these kinds of bosses, but when it comes down to Reaper, you still do, and you have a fair amount of skills that will do this for you as well. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but once you know what bosses you can and can't go through, and also once you get used to all of the dashes in your kit, then she is actually really fun to play, just flying all over the place. I quite like that playstyle, but I can certainly see why it would be too much for some players. She's definitely not for everyone. So what options do we have then when it comes down to building our Reaper? We have Lunar Voice, which is the spec build, which is a bit slower, and we have Hunger, which is a swiftness build, which is a really fast one. Both class engravings share a lot of similar abilities, but you will be taking different tripods on those abilities, and you will also be interacting with a different part of the class's identity gauge. Reaper has two gauges, the green one, which will fill first, and then once that one is full, the red one will start filling. If you want to enter Persona mode, aka the stealth mode, then you only need to have your green gauge filled for that, and then once you exit stealth, you will have to rebuild your gauge from zero. Chaos mode automatically activates when your red gauge hits the max, and then you have to keep hitting the boss or using purple skills to keep this buff active, and then once you drop the buff because of downtime for example, then you only lose the red portion of your gauge, so you'll start with full green gauge if that is the case. But even if your red gauge is full and you use Persona mode, you'll still drop all the way to zero. Now for the class's engravings, Lunar Voice will boost your red skill damage while in Persona mode. So that is why you go full spec so that you can fill your green gauge faster, and then the class engraving will boost your red skill damage when you use them while in stealth. Hunger on the other hand will add another effect to your Chaos mode. While in Chaos mode you gain crit rate, movement speed and attack speed, and the class engraving adds another effect of attack power increase to this as well. So that is why you want to go for more swiftness, so that you can keep this chaos buff up a lot easier. So in other words, with Lunar Voice you want to build up that green gauge, go stealth and then use a red skill to exit stealth, and with Hunger you just want to fill both of your gauges to the max and then chill there to benefit from the buffs provided by Chaos mode. I personally ended up choosing to go Lunar Voice because I felt like it suits the assassin playstyle a bit more, with like dipping in and out of stealth all the time, and it's also a little bit more unique compared to Hunger, because Hunger is basically another piano class. You're just pressing a lot of buttons, you're going really fast. Sure, you still have that Reaper feeling with all of the dashes in your kit, but it's not as unique as what the Lunar Voice playstyle offers, so that is why I went for that option. But both builds are fun to play, so pick your poison. I think Hunger is a little bit easier to play, also a bit cheaper, but I just thought Lunar was a bit cooler, so that is why I went for that. Now, another really cool thing about Reaper is that she is the only class that can counter bosses from the back. So she has a skill that has you toss a dagger at the boss, and then you have a little while where you can teleport to the other side of the boss as long as you're standing within the big circle that you'll probably see a couple times in the gameplay. Now, this dagger toss is a two-part counter. The first hit of you throwing the dagger can counter, and then you teleporting to the other side of the boss will also counter. So in a raid like Vika's Gate 2 for example, you can toss your dagger, stay at her backside while she is doing her kicks that shoot out those projectiles, and then when she's about to do the actual counter, you just teleport to the front and then actually counter her. So it's really cool that you can do that. Reaper is certainly a class where you can display your mastery over a class as well as an encounter, with you being able to teleport into certain positions to have higher uptime, or you could use your dashes to jump out of attacks. But the opposite is also true. If you're not familiar with the class or the encounter, then it's very easy for you to end up in a dangerous position because of all of this forced movement that comes with the class. And then you might end up contributing to the floor POV Reaper identity. Personally, I've been really enjoying what little time that I've spent with her so far, and I think that once I do master her gameplay, that she's going to feel really good. It just feels really satisfying teleporting around the boss to get into position to land your big hits. There's just something to it that feels great. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say about Reapers today. Very fun class to play, can definitely recommend people to try her out. Might be a little bit difficult to get into groups at the moment because of the stigma of Reaper floor POV and also because it's a new class. We'll give it a few weeks and I'm pretty sure that some good Reaper players will pave the way for the rest as well, because she can certainly put out a lot of damage. Been able to get a couple of cruel fighters as well with her so far already, and I don't even have my relic set yet. So she's definitely up there as a pretty good class. You just need to be good at playing her as well, but I think that goes for pretty much any other class. So hopefully people stop gatekeeping as much as they are doing right now in a couple weeks from now, and then everything should be good to go on that department as well. I'm certainly going to be playing around with her for a little while in the weeks to come, because I do want to try and get at least a 4-piece relic set, so that I can carry my bird runs a bit easier as well. And then from there on out I'll see what I end up doing with her. I'll probably just have her chill at 1445 for a while, but I don't really need to have her anything higher than that to have some good fun on her, because that is definitely what she is. Good fun, really fun playstyle, really cool class. Definitely recommend you to check her out. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say, so I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.